Well, hello, traders and investors. It's LA here. This is the nightly show. We look at these markets, doing it from a neoclassical perspective, looking at supply and demand on the charts. We're using that to make information or to receive information from these markets. The market talks to you. It talks to you as it does its test. And if you can understand where those tests are, what's significant, what's not, and you can focus on the things that are, and you can glean information for it. I do the show 4 times a week, Monday through Thursdays, broadcast at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube, son of a channel, LA Little. So let's look at the markets here. So tonight, we've actually got something cooking finally. And what I mean by cooking is we looked as if we're going to get some sort of a pullback. I tweeted that about 30 minutes before the close, I think, today to the members. And what I was looking at was a over-under, right, and a 2-bar elsewhere. So you got a steep advance, and so if we take this advance from the beginning and we do it up, right, the angle's not horrible. In other words, it's not like straight up, but it is a fairly steep advance. It's way more than a 45-degree angle. And so from that perspective, yeah, you could pull back. When you go over, you come back under, you got less volume. That's the setup that you could get the retrace. And this thing is set up to try and do that. Now, when it finally does it, whether it's tomorrow, the next day, or whenever, this is the bar it's going to try to come back into. And that's where the volumes are not that great on that swing point high. You do have it here on this one, which is the bottom. But outside of that, it's not that big. Now, it already tested it once, and so you would expect it would test the bottom of it next time it comes back. That's 24.42. It's only about 40 points away. But 40 points away in this market, 2%, probably people be freaking out, even though it doesn't mean anything. So that's the S&P 500. Moving over to the NASDAQ. Now, on the NASDAQ, you actually have the 2-bar. And we can say it's a 2-bar because of the angle of ascent, the fact that it's over, it's under, it's got less volume. And that's a very steep angle, right? So you get over it, back under it, less volume, 2-bar reversal. What you don't have is you don't have it on the NDX. The NDX is going to try and go higher tomorrow. This bar from yesterday, it's way over that one. It's even over the one prior to it. The NDX isn't giving it up yet. And that's a result of the big 5, right? We're talking about Google, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon. So Microsoft already reported, and they pretty much went sideways. Google reported, went down. Facebook was tonight. I mistakenly said it a couple nights ago. Tonight it was. It was down and then reversed. Had a really good earnings again, and revenue growth, big revenue growth. Ended up about. I turned it off. It was up about 2.5%, 3%, I think. So Facebook is going to try to drive this thing up higher again tomorrow, and so I would expect that this is the one that's going to try to pull everybody up. And then the rest of them are going to meander and potentially pull it down. And so that's going to be the fight tomorrow. So the NDX is the one that is the oddball out here. Because if you go to the Russell on the small caps, they also get over and under. Now, this one's just an over and under. It's not a 2-bar because the angle of ascent is not that steep. And it hasn't had that much of a percentage gain comparatively. And so that's the way the indexes look. We've been talking about the sectors signaling that we're going to get something on these indexes pretty soon. And that is what we started to see today with the indexes, right, starting to pull back. Here's the healthcare we talked about last night. Even though the biotech tried to get a good bounce today, this still pulled back overall. What held the market up? Well, XLK continues, right, pushes to a new high. That SOX that we looked at last night and said it had a reversal, probably would try to push higher. It did. So the SOX is the other one. Now the SOX did test, but it had more volume, so this thing can go higher too. So you got the SOX and you have the big cap tech that's going to try to push the NDX up higher. On the downside, you had XLF coming back in. So you do a bearish engulfing on it. You're back into your retest regenerate area here, the bullish. That's on this immediate retest. That means it's probably going to try and get to the bottom part of that again, which is down in that range it was in. So the XLF tries to break out, but ends up coming right back. XLI got a nice bounce, but Boeing couldn't take them higher, even though it had a nice big spike in Boeing, which pushed the Dow up. You couldn't get it here. And if we go look at the transports again, the transports were trying to pull in. They reversed. They're holding so far. They're off the swing point high over here, still holding. They look to be good, at least for now. This is the third time into this area now. And so the odds are fairly high that it could break. And what's holding it up, in my opinion, which I shared with the members this weekend, maybe shared it here, I can't always keep my shows straight, is that swing point high on this time frame, right, the weekly time frame. And that's a first trip back, and it's still holding. And you actually have duals. You have the one over here, and you have that one, and they both have decent volume. So it looks like transports may be able to hold it. It needs to. Energy was up again today, but energy couldn't hold. It gave it up again. Had volume as it pushed up, but was unable to hold at the highs. And the XLB, which had the big breakout yesterday, big spike up and held, well, bearish engulfing today, back down the other way. So as you can see, this market stretched. The fact that it's stretched, right, the more it stretches, the harder it is to continue on. It's just the way it works. You either have to go sideways in time or you got to pull back. And these things get sucked right back into the ranges as a result of that. Tomorrow, so you got Facebook trying to hold it up. I believe Amazon is after the bell tomorrow. You had the Fed today. Fed was a total non-event. Nothing happened off of it. No surprises there. They've pretty much got the market where they want them, and that is, we're going to slowly do these things, and it's a sign of strength that we can do it, and etc., etc. Never mind the fact that we blew $4 trillion into the economy, and that money was to buy bad goods. That's it for tonight. Have yourself a great one. I will be back tomorrow. We'll see where we're at. Until next time, take care.